We're gonna hit the NFL wide receivers honorable mentions. There's a lot of them, So yeah, let's start debunking some of these guys. The first one is gonna be Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, big body receiver, 6'5". Yeah, honestly, kind of gives me the Malcolm Floyd type vibe. In just terms of he's just trying to get up, get after it, and jumping up for catches and touchdown grabs and whatnot. He's entertaining. Atlanta definitely has a guy here. He had to develop a little bit, so having him finally come into his own is really exciting to see. He's 23 years old, 3 years in the league, 2 years, $20.4 million in the deal. He played 17 games. He had 100 receptions, 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns, 74.8 yards per game. He also had 327 yards after catch yards, 6 broken tackles. He was ninth in receptions, fourth in yards, and ninth in touchdowns. Yeah, he had a tremendous season. I definitely see him having a better one. We'll see if it's Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix. Either way, I think we're looking at a future star in the making right now. Next, we got Zay Flowers of the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, he's a very underrated receiver. Definitely, it took a while, uh, and by a while I mean 2 years to really kind of blossom into what he's become. There was a lot of potential there in terms of how he was going to fit into the scheme and the offense of this team. A lot of people saw him as undersized and really just going to be a slot kind of guy, but he's great on the outside. Definitely gets open, and obviously it's pretty fast, pretty speedy. So overall, there's great, you know, uh, great analysis on him, and I do believe that he's going to continue to get better as well. It's uh, it's great to see Baltimore have a receiver that's reliable. Zay Flowers, 24 years old, 2 years in the league. He's got 2 years, $4.62 million on his rookie deal. 17 games that he played, 74 receptions for 1,059 yards, 4 touchdowns, 62.3 yards per game, 463 yards after catch with 7 broken tackles. The 2 games that he played in the playoffs, he had 9 receptions for 156 yards and a touchdown, an average of 78 yards per game, a fumble, 48 yards after the catch, and 2 broken tackles. He got nominated to the Pro Bowl. Again, phenomenal year, broke out. Hopefully, I'm seeing more of him and his talents coming up. Next up, we have DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears. Last year he was an honorable mention. This year, again, he's an honorable mention. Very close to a top 10 receiver in the game. His numbers are not bad. It's just the fact that there's just a lot of talent at this position. And I mean, he just doesn't make the cut as of right now. Doesn't mean he's not going to. But again, a lot of talent, man. DJ Moore, though, held his own. 28 years old, 7 years in the league, 5 years, $118.9 million on the deal. He played 17 games. He had 98 receptions for 966 yards, 6 touchdowns, 56.8 yards per game, 1 fumble, 588 yards after catch, and 5 broken tackles. No accolades, nothing like that. Just had a pretty good season. Caleb Williams, probably go-to guy. Yeah, this is a really good Bears offense. They got some weapons, so he's gonna have to share some of these catches with some of these other guys. But overall, he's still the number one, and yeah, he's been phenomenal. So give him his credit, and I mean, he deserves to be on this list. We got Keenan Allen, the Chicago Bear last year. Honestly, as of right now, this guy has no contract, so I don't know where he's going. Seems like he might stay in Chicago, or he can go somewhere else that's a contender and help them there. He's still reliable. He's still efficient. Obviously, what's hurt him in his career has been the injuries, but when he's healthy, he is a quintessential part of an offense. So overall, still got to look at Keenan and his talents. He's 33 years old, 12 years in the league. Again, no contract right now that I see. 15 games that he played, 70 receptions, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He had 49.6 yards per game with a fumble and 240 yards after catch with one broken tackle. No accolades, but 70 receptions for a veteran that does get injured a lot. I think that's good enough. It's again a lot of people to throw it to. Caleb Williams was kind of just going through his rookie motions, but Keenan Allen was still a pretty big contributor. I do want to see him on a different team possibly because I think he could be a wide receiver one somewhere else. But again, efficient and deserving of being here. It's going to be T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, first time being an honorable mention. Definitely. I mean, I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves, just based on the fact that there's Jamar Chase right there, and he gets most of the publicity, most of the touches. So, T. Higgins definitely is a guy that I think they do need. I think it's great when Jamar Chase is there and he might be double covered. T. Higgins is going to come in clutch. It's a tall, lanky receiver, and he is very impactful, especially when it comes down to the end zone. So, Joe Burrow, I mean, has stated many times, yeah, we need him, and well, they paid him the the big money. So, overall, I think it's a huge thing for them, for their offense, for the future. T. Higgins, 26 years old, 5 years in the league. He signed 4 years, $115 million. 12 games that he played, 73 receptions, 911 yards, had 10 touchdowns, 75.9 yards per game, one fumble, 228 yards after catch, and seven broken tackles. He was sixth in receiving touchdowns, and he was ninth in yards per game. So, yeah, again, a lot of credit for him. Very underrated, and he deserves to be here. Next, we got the Denver Bronco receiver Courtland Sutton, who last year was honorable mention. This year, again, another honorable mention. It's a hard position to be top 10 in, but being relevant and being on this list does mean something. It means that they're capable of playing at a high level, and it means that they need to be looked at and observed and analyzed and whatnot, and talked about. So Cortland Sutton, he's just definitely a guy that needs to be talked about. He's a huge part of the Denver Bronco passing attack, and obviously it's helped with the transition of Bo Nix, man. Overall, Cortland Sutton, 29 years old, 7 years in the league. He has 1 year, $14 million left in the deal. So would they resign him long term? My best guess is yeah. But again, with the market and whatnot, the draft, when there's always receivers available, who knows? I do believe that they should try to. His 17 games that he played, 81 receptions for 1,081 yards, had 8 touchdowns, 63.6 yards per game, one fumble, 179 yards after catch, and one broken tackle. In the wild card game against the Bills, he had 5 receptions for 75 yards and 12 yards after catch. So he was definitely impactful for them. Obviously, the Bills were just a better team, but Cortland Sutton's a huge part of the offense. He needs to be looked at, and yeah, we'll see what he does this year. Next person is Stefon Diggs of the Houston, or not the Houston Texans, of the New England Patriots. Last year played for Houston. Definitely had the injury bug, so the ability of what he was able to do was limited. But he's had some great years, obviously, in the NFL. Has been fantastic with Minnesota. Had some great years in Buffalo. It just didn't pan out with the connection with the organization and himself, and he wanted a new challenge. Went to Houston, and it just didn't pan out the way he wanted to. So this fresh new contract for him, I think, will do him well. I believe it'll put him back into a number one spot instead of sharing the ball all the time with someone. So having him the number one and being able to suit up there, hopefully for all 17 games, is going to be beneficial for him. And again, when he is healthy, when he is at his peak, he is a top 10, top five kind of guy. So, yeah, last year he was five. So, 31 years old, 10 years in the league, 3 years, $63.5 million that he signed with the Patriots. The 8 games played, 47 receptions for 496 yards, 3 touchdowns, 62 yards per game, 185 yards after catch, and 3 broken tackles. Yeah, didn't play in the playoffs at all, but again, I think He's going to impact New England, and it's a huge signing for him. It's a good signing. I'm excited to see what they do. Next up is going to be Stefon Diggs' ex counterpart, Nico Collins. Yeah, 6'4" with the speed that he's got, play recognition, awareness. Um, yeah, I mean, he looks for the ball. He's going to snag the ball out of here. Yeah, I like Nico Collins a lot. Last year was an honorable mention. This year he's an honorable mention. I think this is a huge step for him. I think it was great to have Diggs gone just because I believe if he can stay healthy, because that is a problem with him, is the injury bug. If he can stay healthy, he's a wide receiver one, and he definitely can make a case for a top 10 slot. So overall, I like Nico Collins. I like where he's at. He just needs to stay healthy, productive, and definitely lead the Texans in this offensive game. 26 years old, 4 years in the league, 3 years, $57.13 million, 12 games that he played, 68 receptions for 1,006 yards, 7 touchdowns, 83.8 yards per game, 365 yards after the catch, and 2 broken tackles. The 2 playoff games that they played, he had 12 receptions for 203 yards and a touchdown with a 101.5 yards per game, 67 yards after catch, and 1 broken tackle. He was fourth in yards per game. He was not. He was a Pro Bowler. So, again, definitely putting in the work. Definitely getting better every single year. I'm excited to see what he does, especially with a bigger, more important role, and more of a load on him to get more catches and more targets. So, yeah, deserving of being here. I see a lot of potential on the rise for him to be a top 10 guy. Next is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, I have made rookies on the top 10 list, be on the top 10 as a rookie, but Brian Thomas Jr., there's just a lot of receivers for this position. I do want to see like at least one more year of what he can do. I think regardless, he's going to be a top 10 guy. Honestly, he'd probably be a top 5 receiver in the next 3 years. So, his ability is insane. I don't know what the fuck is up with LSU, but somehow they just always get like 3 to 4 receivers that are just NFL ready. I know it's the SEC, I get it, but like this should be illegal. Like I don't know why there's a bunch of people that every year there's just a plug-in receiver there that becomes an NFL star. So it's insane. Just it's crazy. Brian Thomas Jr. though, another one of those LSU products that has been tremendous. He's a huge focal point already in the offense, and he's doing what he needs to do to showcase the talent he's got, which is tremendous. 22 years old, 1 year in the league. He's got 3 years, $6.37 million on the rookie contract for him. 17 games played, 87 receptions, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns, 75.4 yards per game, 562 yards after the catch. He was a Pro Bowler. He was fourth in the Offensive Rookie of the Year voting. He was an all rookie team, third in yards, sixth in receiving touchdowns, 10th in yards per game. Again, phenomenal. I want to see what his sophomore year is going to look like for him. Overall, though, yeah, he's a star in the making, and can't wait to see what he does. Okay, we got Puka Nakua. Last year was an honorable mention. This year, honorable mention. Honestly, last year could have been a top 10 guy. If he stayed healthy, I think he would have made a top 10 list this year. It's just injuries definitely plagued the Rams, and that sucks, man. Like that's just a part of sports. That's what happens. And the great ones figure out how to get through that and come back and have a great year and prove why they are where they're at. So Puka Nakua, still honestly a great NFL receiver. He's young. He's only going to get better, I believe. I believe he'll be a top 10 guy. I want to see him healthy. 25 years old, 2 years in the league, 2 years, $2.17 million. 11 games that he played, 79 receptions for 990 yards, 2 touchdowns, or 3 touchdowns, and 90 yards per game, 518 yards after catch, 10 broken tackles. In the 2 games in the playoffs, he had 11 receptions for 141 yards, 70 and a half yards per game, 59 yards after catch, and one broken tackle. He was 30 yards per game. For the limited time that he was, yards per game was phenomenal, exceptional for him. Matthew Stafford definitely looked towards him. He was the go-to guy. So Puka Nakua, great job. I want to see what he does. Full season would be nice. We do have Jaylen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins. Um, yeah, I mean, he did play a full year, and that's great because it's hard to play a full year, especially in the NFL. His numbers were surprisingly low. I didn't expect it to be like that. I expected a lot better numbers. I believe, with the Tua injury, with the fact that their schemes maybe just was off. They just didn't throw as efficient as they needed to. So, but Jalen Waddle is still a dangerous receiver. I think he still has the ability of being a top 10 type guy. And it's hard to share with Tyreek Hill. So it's like two number ones, but like who's going to be the sidekick. I know Jalen Waddle or any athlete, they want to be the center of attention. So Jalen Waddle, I think that, it's hard, but he's doing well with the spotlight of sharing it. 26 years old, 4 years in the league, 4 years, $84.76 million. 15 games that he played, 58 receptions, 744 yards, two touchdowns, 49.6 yards per game, and 236 yards after the catch. Again, it's a little bit of a slump, but I do believe that he'll come back stronger. Hopefully, still play the same amount of games that he did this year, and just showcase where he's at. That this is not it for him. Next, we got Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. Um, yeah, I mean, I really like Chris Olave. I like his potential. He's young, still can get even better. I believe Derek Carr retiring. There's a new QB. We'll see if that affects anything. We'll see if he steps up and obviously plays a lot more than what he did this year. Just prove that, yeah, I am a top receiver in this game. Like, this is where I'm at. Don't just diminish what I am and don't diminish where I'm going to be. So Chris Olave does have something to prove, and I do like that because he's a good receiver, and I think he's underrated, overlooked. So Chris Olave, 25 years old, 3 years in the league, 2 years, $18.79 million, 8 games that he played, 32 receptions for 400 yards and a touchdown, had 50 yards per game, had a fumble, had 121 yards after the catch, and a broken tackle. Yeah, again, no playoffs, no accolades, but I think he's got a prove it season coming up. I'm excited to see what he does. Another rookie we got is Malik Neighbors. Again, another LSU product receiver who definitely has superstar written all over him. Definitely a guy that's going to be a key contributor to the Giants' offense. This is a team that's rebuilding. They're terrible, so they need someone to continuously uplift them, and get them the yards, get them touchdowns, get them some entertainment, obviously for those fans. And Malik Neighbors is going to be that guy. Obviously, the Giants are trying to move in the right direction. Not trying to talk that much shit about him, but overall, Malik Neighbors is a bright spot for him with this rebuilding process that they got going. Yeah, Malik Neighbors only 21 years old, 1 year in the league, 2 years or 3 years, $10.34 million on the rookie deal. 15 games that he played, 109 receptions, 1,204 yards, seven touchdowns, 80.3 yards per game, one fumble, 462 yards after the catch, and eight broken tackles. He's a Pro Bowler as a rookie, fifth in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting, All Rookie Team, fifth in receptions, seventh in receiving yards, sixth in yards per game. So, yeah, he's got a lot of potential. Potential is amazing. I'm excited to see what he does. Definitely top 10 guy. Yeah, sooner rather than later, I think he could compete with Brian Thomas Jr. as the best receiver in the game. All right, so we continue on with Devonte Smith, wide receiver for honorable mention. Last year was also an honorable mention. Had a huge catch in the Super Bowl. They were already destroying the Chiefs, and he kind of had that stomp on that game and making sure that there was going to be no comeback. at all. Devonte Smith just he did what he did, man, and he's been tremendously great for Philadelphia. He's underrated as a player. He's 26 years old, 4 years in the league, 4 years, $72.59 million that he has on the deal. 13 games played, 68 receptions for 833 yards, 8 touchdowns, 64.1 yards per game, 299 yards after the catch. In the 4 games that he played in the postseason, he had 16 receptions for 190 yards and a touchdown, 47.5 yards per game, 65 yards after the catch with 1 broken tackle. No accolades. Again, he was injured. Fully healthy, I believe this guy can be a Pro Bowler. Obviously, with A.J. Brown and sharing the load of all the weapons, it's hard for him to be the number one go-to, but he definitely gets it done, and he's a great receiver. Definitely part of a team that can be a dynasty with the roster they got. So overall, good on Philly, and Devonte Smith is definitely a keeper. Up, we have Deebo Samuel. Last year, he was actually number 10 on the list. Dropped down, honestly, because of injuries. His production level has gone down. I think that, the 49ers just didn't really know how to properly use the guy at times. And, he's got a little bit of everything, right? So definitely great on sweeps. Good runner. Definitely good runner. And, pretty underrated receiver. So overall, you know, people obviously love to dog on him. Um, and again, him not being as healthy has been detriment to him in his career. But I think a new fresh start is good for him. Uh, he has he's 29 years old, 6 years in the league. He's got 1 year, $17.54 million, which he is now a part of the Washington Commanders. So it's a big sign for him. Like not sign, but a good transition for him, and I think it will pave well for him, and I believe it's going to be good on both parties. I think he just needed a change of scenery, and kind of like I can still do this. Um, but yeah, 15 games played, 51 receptions, 670 yards, 3 touchdowns, 44.7 yards per game, 2 fumbles, 42 rushes for 136 yards and a touchdown, 421 yards after the catch with 8 broken tackles. Again, he can be a pretty good factor for teams. I think the Commanders trying to go all in. I think they're definitely wanting to win now, obviously with a bright young QB. I think it's going to help Deebo Samuel, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they do as a collective and what Deebo does to recoup or to recover his career and maybe comeback player. Next, we got a really up and coming type star in Seattle's Jackson Smith Njigba. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential to do a lot of great things. I'm excited to see what he's able to do in the Seattle offense. Now, obviously, they've got a new QB in Sam Darnold, who definitely revived his career in Minnesota. So we'll see what happens with him. Again, I'm excited to see his production and his level of you know of the rise that he has this year with Seattle. Yeah, Jackson's 23 years old, 2 years in the league, 2 years, $4.77 million, 17 games that he played, 100 receptions, 1,130 yards for 6 touchdowns, 60 and a half yards per game with a fumble. He had 477 yards after the catch, 4 broken tackles. He was actually ninth in receptions in the league, and he was a Pro Bowler. So, again, I'm expecting big things from him next year. And yeah, he's got a lot of upside. I hope that Sam Darnold can see him as a go-to guy, be the number one, and continuously produce. Okay, Chris Godwin's next. Tampa Bay Bucks receiver has been a staple for him for a while. Obviously, not the love that he gets compared to Mike Evans, right? Hall of Fame type career for him, but Chris Godwin still has been productive. He's still been pretty effective when he's on the field, and that's the problem is that he does get injured. He's injury prone, and that is an issue. But overall, has a lot of great qualities. 29 years old, 8 years in the league, 3 years, $66 million. 7 games that he played this year, 50 receptions, 576 yards, 5 touchdowns, 82.3 yards per game, 1 fumble, 350 yards after the catch, 4 broken tackles. The 1 game that he played in the playoffs, he had 8 receptions for 85 yards, a touchdown, and 30 yards after the catch. So, not awesome, not bad. So, again, he just needs to stay healthy, and I see obviously Pro Bowl in this future, and and whatnot. Very effective, especially in a really good, high tempo Tampa Bay offense. Next, we do have Calvin Ridley of the Tennessee Titans. Definitely up and down career for him. I mean, fantastic. Then got a year banned for betting, and obviously had to take some time off forcefully. Came back, did really well. I believe he won a comeback player of the year type award. But came back with a vengeance. Obviously played in Tennessee and was one of the few bright spots on the team, dude. Honestly. So Calvin Ridley, 30 years old, 6 years in the league, 3 years, $67 million. 17 games played, 64 receptions, 1,017 yards, four touchdowns, 59.8 yards per game, one fumble, had 231 yards after the catch, and four broken tackles. So again, overall, not bad. Um, and yeah, I mean, Calvin really, will see what he does. Obviously, he's a huge part of the team, huge part of the offense. Yeah, he deserves to be on this list. Honorable mentions. Okay, next up, Julio Jones, man. Um, the retirement in him is crazy because of the 2010s of his eliteness and what he was able to bring to the game for so long. Like it's gonna be missed. He was one of those receivers that you needed to watch every Sunday. You didn't know what he was gonna do. Obviously, a fantasy giant. If anyone that played fantasy football knows, he had some fantastic games. Definitely in his prime years was unguardable, and he can catch anything, man. It was crazy. Julio Jones was just dynamic, explosive, agile, a future Hall of Famer, absolutely, and should be a first ballot. He played 13 years. He played majority of them with Atlanta. He did move around towards the end of his career, Philly, Tennessee, Tampa Bay. So it wasn't the same Julio, but again, he still was Julio Jones. He played 166 games. He had a total of 914 catches, 13,703 receiving yards, 66 touchdowns, and 82 and a half yards per game. 11 games that he played in the postseason. He had 72 receptions for 992 yards, 7 touchdowns, 90.2 yards per game. He was part of the All 2010s team. He was a two-time first-team All-Pro. He was a seven-time Pro Bowler. He was a three-time second-team All-Pro. Um, Honestly, one of his more memorable things that we need to look at has been that catch in Super Bowl 56, um, or 51, excuse me. It's just, yeah, it's just one of those the two tap grab, man, in the air, just acrobatic. It's something that you just cannot unsee, and yeah, he was amazing. He also had 7 years of 1,000 receiving yards in a season. So again, you need to definitely look at that from a perspective of high quality. So overall, Julio Jones, he's the man. He's gonna be missed. I hope to see him somewhere along the lines of maybe a receivers coach or just on TV or something. His knowledge of the game is crazy and just so entertaining to watch.